Have you ever felt that immense joy after defeating a super difficult boss in a Soulslike game? If so, you know what I'm talking about. It's the happiness of conquering something that initially seemed impossible. And today's video is exactly about that. The top 10 most difficult bosses ever created in the Soulslike universe, in my opinion, making Malenia look like a piece of cake. And in this video, we will also have an honorable mention for a boss who, despite being below the top 10, is still a tough opponent and well represents the Soulslike genre. So, stay until the end of this video because it's insane. And if you're new here, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any content. Our goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and you will be helping a lot by doing this. Welcome to the SoulsBorne channel. Leave your like because this video took a lot of work to make. And without further ado, let's get into the top 10. As an honorable mention in 11th place, we have Flamelurker, who, in my opinion, is the most difficult boss in Demon Souls. He is a huge fire demon, faster than most enemies in the game, and to make things worse, Flamelurker is immune to fire magic. All his attacks deal fire damage, and near the end of his life, he becomes even stronger, mixing short and long-range attack combos and dealing fire damage per second to your character. I'm sure if you face this boss, you know how tough he is and must have spent a few good hours defeating him. In 10th place, we have Fume Knight from Dark Souls 2. But this boss is only available to those who have the DLC crown of the Old Iron King. For many players, Fume Knight is considered the hardest boss in Dark Souls 2. From Software's statistics show that it's the boss where players have died the most. The character mixes quick attacks with more impactful ones, all in a random manner, making it difficult to read his moves and anticipate them. To make matters worse, what makes the fight with Fume Knight even harder is the arena where it takes place. It's quite small, making it harder to dodge the opponent's blows. Fume Knight is an annoying and exhausting boss. Now let's move on to our next boss, which I'm sure has caused many to break their peripherals. In 9th place, we have Malenia from Elden Ring, and you might be thinking, if Malenia is in 9th, who could be the others? Stay tuned in the video, and you'll find out. Malenia holds this position because, in my opinion, she is the hardest boss in Elden Ring, bringing together all the mechanics From Software has implemented in their game into one character. She is very fast, has frenzied attacks that prevent you from using healing flasks, has a huge reach, can predict your movements. And if that wasn't enough, in her second phase, she flies and uses Scarlet Rot, which deals damage over time. She holds this place because there are mechanics in the game that make the fight easier, such as the Mimic Tear and Ashes of War, along with magic and ranged combat styles that make the fight a bit easier. But don't be fooled, she will still take many hours of attempts until you finally defeat her. In 8th place, we have the most feared duo in gaming, Ornstein and Smurf from Dark Souls 1. This fight involves two bosses simultaneously, requiring you to have quick reflexes and coordination to master this battle. What makes this challenge so difficult is that defeating one of the bosses is just the beginning. Once Ornstein or Smurf are defeated, the remaining boss absorbs the powers of the Fallen One, becoming a more powerful version of themselves. You will spend several hours defeating one, and when you do, it will take even more hours to defeat the other. For all these reasons, they take the 8th position on our list. In 7th place, we have the bosses Sister Fried and Father Ariandel, the final bosses of the Ashes of Ariandel DLC in Dark Souls 3. This fight is divided into 3 phases. In the first phase, Sister Fried moves simply and doesn't present an uncommon challenge. Once her health bar is completely depleted, the second phase begins, with Sister Fried's health bar fully restored and Father Ariandel joining the fight. Fighting both bosses is so demanding that players can summon Slave Nightgale for assistance if they have already defeated him. The real challenge begins with the start of the third phase, where Sister Free's health bar is completely regenerated again, and she transforms into Black Flame Free. Her movements become difficult to anticipate, and it's recommended that players have a good distribution of strength, health, and stamina. This boss fight speaks for itself. 3 phases, one of which involves a duo that mixes fire and ice attacks, and to make matters worse, the third phase where Freed uses black flames that will make you want to give up the fight. Dark Eater Mitter from the DLC The Ring City in Dark Souls 3 takes our 6th position and is an optional boss. This dragon will require the player to have reflexes, agility, and timing to deal damage. Besides breathing fire, black flames, and dealing massive area damage, this boss can kill you with just one hit. Despite being a large dragon, don't be fooled. This boss is difficult to hit because he never stops moving during the fight. A true nightmare for Soulslike enthusiasts. Hey everyone, a quick pause to check if you're enjoying the video. If you are, I'd like to remind you to leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new here. By doing so, you'll be greatly helping in the continuation of new content. Our goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and with your help, I know we can achieve it. From here on, things get even tougher, and in 5th place, we have the Demon of Hatred from Sekiro, a secret boss considered one of the hardest in the game. Despite being large, he is very agile and always tries to keep a distance to attack you from afar. This boss also has 3 lives. That's right, you need to kill him 3 times to progress. The Demon of Hatred is known as a boss where players struggle a lot, with some even giving up on the game. However, for those obsessed with achieving 100% completion, he is a mandatory challenge. In 4th place on our list is Slave Nightgale from the DLC The Ring City. Many consider this boss to be the final boss of the entire Dark Souls franchise, as he concludes the game's last DLC. Being optional, he presents a significant challenge for players who choose to face him. His behavior is highly aggressive, utilizing quick and powerful combos. The battle is divided into 3 phases. In the 2nd phase, Slave Nightgale starts using a crossbow for ranged attacks and has a different moveset from what players memorized in the 1st stage. After depleting 60% of Slave Nightgale's health, you will enter the 3rd and final part of the battle, where the boss gains the ability to teleport anywhere on the battlefield, can cover the arena with lightning, and uses homing bombs and aerial combos. This boss was designed to punish you and make you realize that your character isn't as strong as you thought. You will spend many hours trying to defeat him. Finally, we've reached the top 3 of this list, and in 3rd place is Nameless King, an optional boss in Dark Souls 3. The fight is divided into 2 phases. In the first part, the player might be deceived into thinking that the boss doesn't have much health and that their attacks deal significant damage, but don't be fooled. Nameless King is quick in both his attacks and movements, behaving like a dragon, even spewing fire. His primary weapon is a huge spear used in both phases of the fight. In the 2nd phase, he appears without his mount, delivering a sequence of insane blows with almost no cooldown between attacks, making him a nightmare. After losing half of his health, he becomes even more ferocious, causing players to spend many hours trying to defeat him. It's no wonder he takes the bronze medal in the top most difficult bosses ever created in the Soulslike universe, proving that the Old Hunters DLC is home to the best bosses in Bloodborne. Our silver medalist is the Orphan of Kos. This monster is exceptionally agile, forcing players to concentrate fully to avoid being killed in a single hit. In the 2nd phase of the battle, things get even more complicated as Kos can launch lightning, spit poison, and move even more frenetically, creating the illusion of infinite stamina. This is a boss no player will forget and will celebrate greatly when they finally defeat it. And finally, our gold medal goes to none other than Ishin, the Sword Saint from Sekiro. This final boss has 3 health bars, is extremely aggressive, very strong, and has an incredibly long reach with his spear that is almost ridiculous. At various points in the battle, in addition to his spear, he also uses a firearm, a katana, and if that wasn't enough, in the third phase of the fight, Ishin combines attacks with these weapons and also uses area lightning attacks. The key to victory is mobility, always focusing on keeping your distance from the enemy and only approaching when you see an opening to attack. If you have managed to defeat all the bosses on this list, my sincerest congratulations. This is not a task for just anyone. You are a true Soulslike enthusiast. That was the top 10 hardest bosses ever created in the Soulslike universe. Let me know in the comments which of these bosses you've defeated, and also share whether you agree with this list and if there's any boss you think should have been included. Don't forget to leave a like. I'd like to send a big hug to everyone who stayed until the end and say, we're in this together.